What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another video. It's been a busy year in the news for Illinois, from Brandon Mayor Johnson butting heads with City Council or the 5-year Jussie Smollett saga. Here are some of the biggest stories to make headlines in 2024 in Illinois.
Who is that? Let's try.
Mayor Brandon Johnson's first year as mayor wasn't easy. He spent his first months going at it with aldermen over his decision to end the ShotSpotter gun detective system, which he felt was ineffective. But his critics said it saved lives. Aldermen tried multiple times to get Johnson to change his mind, but ultimately decided to take it offline in September. While that was going on, Johnson faced turmoil at the Chicago Public School. The entire Chicago Public School Board stepped down shortly after CEO Pedro Martinez was fired. Picking a new board just days later, the incoming school board president soon was forced to resign over a series of controversial comments. Brandon replaced his first pick for school board president, a special meeting on Friday evening before Christmas. The mayor handpicked the school board, voted to fire Martinez because Martinez was terminated without a cause. His contract with CPS allows him to stay on the job for 6 months and receive 20 weeks pay. Martinez filed a lawsuit against the school board of breaching Martinez's contract and raising concerns whether the new school board members had the authority to fire him, claims they haven't completed the mandatory training. To cap that off, Johnson needed 4 tries to get his 2025 budget to pass, spent 6.5 weeks of intense negotiating with City Council to get his $17 billion spending plan to pass.
So it has already been determined that you don't follow the United States Constitution. And maybe that's perhaps because you're not a founding father and your name is not on the document. So perhaps if we show you something that your name is on, maybe you'll follow those rules. We got a rules of order and procedure, City Council, City of Chicago, for 2023 to 2027, with your name on it. However, we sit in here all the time and watch you violate our rights. We sit in here all the time and watch you allow City Council to violate our rights. Now, we're going to talk about this budget, about the strange things that's happening. Because, again, your name was on this executive order of May 2023, this executive order for immigration, migrants, and refugee rights. You caused all this money to go to illegal immigrants, not Harold Washington. You going to be held accountable for it. And we want a forensic audit of the money that was spent on illegal immigration. You all are trying to do everything but that, when in fact, that's where all the money went. So anything that you all pass, it's not genuine. It's not honest.
We have to remember history, because the number one thing that we know for certain is that history always repeats itself. So, Mr. Johnson, I know that you can appreciate with me giving you a history lesson with you being a former social studies teacher from Elgin. Well, you plan on going back to the classroom anyway. That was the whole purpose with you taking a leave of absence, right? Well, besides the mental reason. I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to say that out loud.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
You spent over $574 million on illegal immigrants here in Chicago, Illinois since 2022. Now, you still feel like you have to harbor these illegals, which is not a good idea. And in my personal opinion, I don't think it's a good idea to challenge Tom Homan on this, because he's trying to clean up our cities, Mr. Brandon Johnson. Now, let me just remind everybody here that Brandon Johnson is terrible with the budget. How is this $40 million credit line is going to work exactly? Because the key word is credit. So how much will we be using from this $40 million? And the real question is, how much will we be paying back? Now, You want to sit here, you and J.B. Pritzker want to puff out your chest and fight Tom Homan. We need Tom Homan here in Chicago. We need Donald Trump. And I don't want to see people like Pam Bundy and Kash Patel, haul you up out of here and become prosecuted. I don't want to see that happen. But they will do their job if they have to, Brandon Johnson. Now, we are $1 billion in debt. That's absolutely insane. Kamala Harris, she spent $1 billion on her campaign less than a year, and she's $20 million in debt. So it's looking like Democrats are bad with money. Now, you ignored me for 10 to 15 seconds last time I was speaking, and I really did not appreciate that at all. But I got a Christmas present for you. Let's remind the people of Chicago that Brandon Johnson spent $32,000 in campaign funds on haircuts and makeup. So I got an early Christmas present for you, Brandon Johnson. This is some makeup for you right here. You got some rouge, you got the makeup brush right there, so you can save this people some money, for crying out loud.
And even though that was a stretch, Johnson originally proposed a $300 million property tax hike to help eliminate $1 billion of debt. That was immediately shut down by City Council, forcing Johnson to hit the reset button on his plan. Even after reducing his property tax proposal to $150 million, then to $68 million, Johnson was unable to get the voters he needed to pass that also. In March, Chicago police officers shot and 26-year-old Dexter Reed during a traffic stop at Humboldt Park. Police footage captures the whole situation. Reed shoots a police officer in the hand before officers open fire. Questions have been raised why the police stopped him in the first place. Footage show police officers firing a total of 96 shots in 41 seconds, including after Reed was laying on the ground, showing 3 officers reloading the clip and continuing to fire during this whole encounter. One officer fired a total of 50 shots. Within days of the shooting, Chief Alderman Andrea Christine sent a letter to CPD Supervisor Larry saying the doubts on why they even stopped him in the first place, stating that it was a seatbelt violation. But from the looks of the car, the tent, you couldn't even see inside of there. Also, Andrea is putting an investigation against these 5 officers, which they encountered a similar situation months before this for a seatbelt violation. So with this evidence brought in only raised concern the Reed family to file a lawsuit against the traffic stop, claiming police stopped Reed for driving with the legal window tint. Sonia Massey, 36-year-old woman, called the police in Springfield, Illinois about suspicions in her neighborhood. Deputy Sean Grayson and his partner showed up to the scene. While on the scene, they observed Sonia had a pot overheating and asked her to turn it off. While she was turning it off, she was making some remarks towards the officers. Prosecutors say that Grayson and his partner were being very aggressive towards her. One thing led to another. Deputy Sean Grayson shoots Miss Massey in the head. Initially, Deputy Sean Grayson was put on administrative leave, and now he's charged with first-degree murder. 3 tragic situations where police fall in the line of duty. Officer Luis Huesca, a 6-year veteran on the force, was returning home from his shift on April 21st, 2024, when he was shot and while still in uniform outside of his house in Gage Park. Huesca was 2 days away from his 31st birthday. 10 days later, police arrest 22-year-old Xavier Tate Jr. He was captured in Glendale Heights, Illinois, 30 miles away from the scene, at a relative's house. While Huesca's vehicle was stolen after the shooting, police are unsure about the motive behind the shooting. Tate is now charged with first-degree murder. November 4th, 2024, Chicago police officer Enrique Martinez was shot during a traffic stop in East Chatham neighborhood. Police say Darren McMillan, 23-year-old, shot Martinez and the driver of the car McMillan was in after Martinez and his partner stopped the vehicle and 3 others inside for blocking traffic.
McMillan pushed the driver out of the vehicle and jumped into the driver's seat. As another officer attempted to pull McMillan out of the driver's seat, McMillan put the vehicle in reverse, dragging the officer.
The car crashed and he ran into a woman's apartment and used a knife to cut off his ankle monitor. Police say 10 minutes later, he was arrested. Snelling says the suspect had a fully automatic handgun with a machine gun conversion device and an extended magazine. McMillan was on electronic monitoring after being arrested on charges regarding a drug screening test.
On November 29th, Oak Park Police Detective Alan Riddens was responding to a call about a person with a gun leaving Chase Bank on Lake Street when the gunman shot and police announced that 37-year-old Jarrell Thomas was charged with the first-degree murder in Riddens.
Prosecutors say Thomas opened fire on police after he was approached near the town's library by Riddens and another uniformed officer.
The offender then raised his right arm and fired his gun in the direction of both officers. Police body-worn camera captured the sound of 3 gunshots, then an approximately 1-second pause, then 3 more gunshots.
The officer returned fire, striking Thomas in the leg, who appeared at today's detention hearing in a wheelchair. Detective Riddens was critically wounded and later died at an area hospital. Authorities recovered the gun they say Thomas used in the attack. Investigators say he took the weapon from his sister, who legally owned the .40 caliber weapon, days before the attack after an altercation with his father. Thomas's relative did report the gun stolen. Police say the attack was captured on both security cameras in the area, the officer's body-worn cameras, and a neighborhood resident who took pictures of the violence. Authorities say Thomas is a habitual criminal with a previous history of multiple arrests for aggravated battery to a police officer, domestic battery and resisting arrest of a police officer.
R.I.P. to these officers fallen in the line of duty. Thank you. The Illinois Supreme Court overturned actor Jussie Smollett's conviction on charges that he staged a racial and homophobic attack against himself in downtown Chicago in 2019 and lied to police about the situation. The former Empire Star Appeals argued that a special prosecutor should not have been allowed to intervene after the Cook County State's attorney initially dropped the charges. Back in 2019, Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox reached an agreement to drop the charges against Smollett in exchange for $10,000 bond and community service. A special prosecutor was appointed in 2020. Smollett's lawyer claimed his conviction violated his Fifth Amendment rights against double jeopardy, in which is a legal protection against a person being punished for the same crime twice. The special prosecutor disagreed with their permuse, arguing that Smollett was never prosecuted for the case in 2019 and added that an agreement for his release included an understanding that he could be recharged for the original crime. Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, accused of financial mishandling and other misconduct by her village trustees. In April, the FBI searched Dalton Village Town Hall. FBI spokesman called it an authorized investigation of activity. While the FBI did not elaborate on if Henyard was a specific target in this investigation, the village trustees hired former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot to investigate Henyard's handling of village finances. In August, Lightfoot holds a town hall meeting and discloses some shocking evidence.
They're having the same reaction that we did when we saw them. So in particular, we were very concerned to see the top 3 purchases that were highlighted for you that were booked on January 5th of 2023. That's roughly $40,000, a little more than that, in credit card purchases on Amazon in the same day. And our understanding is that the village does not have an Amazon account. These are somebody using one of the credit cards and charging these amounts using your tax dollars. I know how I felt when I started seeing these numbers, so I can imagine how all of you are feeling after all this time being in the dark. And I just want to let you know that this isn't just a job. This isn't just some task. We feel this. And so we have worked very, very diligently, very hard under difficult circumstances to get as much information as we could to share with you.
According to Lightfoot's reports, the village credit card spending is out of control, with no receipts provided for majority of these purchases. Lightfoot also noted that 2 officers racked up overtime hours that nearly doubled their salary in 1 week's pay. In September, a judge granted order forbidding Henyard of appointing various village jobs without the trustees' consent. The order came after Henyard appointed a new village manager to replace Keith Freeman, who's indicted on fraud charges, as well as a new attorney and police chief without the board's approval. In December, Henyard, who also serves as Thornton Township supervisor, was denied a spot on the ballot next year to run for her second term.
I will be suing everybody tomorrow. This is illegal.
This is illegal in your opinion?
Illegal.
Okay. So let's talk about it. I mean, your concern is you brought people in to pre-bus,
All
correct?
the people outside, they let one person in.
Henyard used Thornton Township buses to transport supporters, mostly seniors, yet many of the supporters did not get inside the packed auditorium of 600 people.
This is a process that's been going on way before me, and it's just I'm exercising my rights as the committeeman to hold a caucus.
And it is legal. When it was all said and done, the caucus voted, and Henyard did not get the nomination. Yet listen to who the caucus placed on the ballot.
The Democratic slate that would represent Thornton Township at the April 1st consolidated election reads as follows. For Supervisor, Napoleon Harris.
Henyard left emotional and upset knowing her name will not appear on the April ballot, to the pleasure of many in the room.
Henyard was a no-show at both town hall meetings to start 2025 off, claiming there were death threats if she attended the town hall meeting. With all of these allegations brought against Henyard, it's not looking too bright that she'll be running for mayor this year. Some things I would like to see in 2025. I wouldn't mind seeing J.B. Pritzker in office for a couple more years, guys. What I want to say to my black people, we gotta stop picking people just because they're black. I'm guilty of doing that. Hey, I want to see my people do good as well. The only person who did it right was Obama. Every time a black person gets some power, we seem to mess it up in some way. Let's make Chicago affordable again. That's what we need to do. Make Chicago affordable, because it's a beautiful city, a main attraction in Illinois. But let me know what y'all think about Illinois, what needs to change. If you enjoyed this video, I'm gonna need you to like, hit those notification bells, and subscribe to the channel. I'm out.